What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we're here back in Denmark. As you know, your boy has been to Denmark. So I'm here checking out road trotting. Just to see, we got 14 things you don't know about Denmark to see. Maybe see some things I got to experience. Maybe they're in some areas I got to be at, stuff like that. But yeah, and some fun facts. So y'all hit that subscribe button. Let's check it out.
Thank God you're here, because today we're gonna blow your mind with 14 things that you don't know about Denmark.
Oh, that scared me a little bit.
We're shooting this at Grobeltor.
Grobeltor. I don't think I got to go there.
Dansk. That means I only speak a little Danish, so you're probably going to be frustrated with how poorly I mispronounce the Danish names of some of the places and things we're going to talk about today. Hopefully you won't be too upset. Be nice to us in the comments below. We decided to shoot this video here because
I tell you, that was a tough day for me. I was really trying to pronounce, like, especially when I was in like the metro station and stuff like that. I was trying to pronounce the different places, street names, when I was walking around, street names and stuff. It's different. It's really different. By
a viewer named Michael, who said this was his favorite square in Copenhagen. We agree, so we came here today to start out today's video. Do you have a suggestion for us? Leave it in the comments and maybe we'll go there to shoot our next video. Now, let's get rolling.
Nice, nice.
Welcome to Road Trotting, where Derek
and Mike, like a real nice area,
moved from the U.S. to Copenhagen in 2017. Our channel is all about living abroad and traveling the world. Every Thursday, we drop our most candid advice and tips based on our lives as expats.
I was in a grocery store in Denmark and Sweden, actually. I seen some of these, but I didn't get the chance to try it.
For more, be sure to visit our companion site, roadtrotting.com, with a link in the description below.
You may not know it, but Denmark is the oldest kingdom in Europe, and it's one of the oldest monarchies in the world. Now, Japan states that its king can be traced back to 660 BCE, but that's based on a legend. The current queen of Denmark, Queen Margrethe II, can trace her lineage back to 900 AD, and the Viking king Gorm the Old. She's also a renowned designer and has even designed the costumes for the Danish Royal Ballet. Since the 1500s, all Danish kings have been named either Christian or Frederick. The current queen's father and son are both named Frederick. So I guess she's keeping the tradition alive.
Oh, nice.
Her eldest
son, they look alike too,
will one day inherit the Danish throne. He's married to Princess Mary, who's Australian, and she studied Danish at the same language school.
Oh, I did have a few people were telling me about Princess Mary from Australia. I do Australia on my other channel.
But we did, although she speaks it a little bit better than us. And you may be wondering about the castle over my shoulder. That's Rosenborg
I didn't get
Castle,
to see that castle.
Artifacts from over 400 years of Danish history, including the crown jewels of Denmark and the coronation thrones.
I was mostly in Newhaven. I think I would have been. I should have went to this area too. If I had another day, I think I would have went and tried to see a little bit more castles in Denmark. I didn't get a chance to. I know in Sweden I got a chance to. I was walking around looking at different castles, and I have a bunch of selfies. If y'all look at my videos I posted.
Now, something that might surprise you about Denmark,
it would have been nice to be at the beach.
It has tons of beaches. There's no point in Denmark that's actually farther than 32 miles or 52 kilometers from the sea. So the sea is everywhere, and you can find beaches all over the country. Along with beaches everywhere, Denmark is full of islands. There's 443 islands in total, though only about 76 are inhabited. Some of these islands are major islands too. Copenhagen sits across two islands, a major island called Sjælland and a smaller one called Imag. Now, although you may not think of Denmark as a beach country, Danes come to the beach all year round. In the summertime, where we are right now, a beach called Andersen is filled with people enjoying the water or just barbecuing and relaxing in the sand. In the wintertime, you also find people jumping into the sea. Winter bathing is a major part of Danish culture, even though we still find it a little bit crazy. Beyond the beaches, the sea dictates so much of Danish culture. Danish cuisine has lots of fish, especially pickled herring. When it comes to sports, the Olympic sport where Danes have won the most Olympic medals is sailing. And, of course, Denmark is famous for the Vikings that come from the sea.
Now, I hope this doesn't change your breakfast plans, but the pastries that you may know as Danish actually don't originate from Denmark. In fact, their origin comes from Austria. You see, in 18...
Yeah, I didn't really have a sweet tooth when I was there. Oh, no, I did get a waffle. I got like a waffle, Belgian waffle or something like that, or Stroop waffle or something like that. But it was good, but I was eating it and I was like, man, I do not have a sweet tooth. I just got it because it looked nice. Like it was, the way it was looking real nice. And I seen a lot of stations that sold a lot of churros too.
50, Denmark had a labor dispute. That's when all of the bakers went on strike and foreign bakers had to be brought in to, well, bake. That included many from Austria, and they brought with them recipes and different kinds of treats that the Danes weren't used to. Now, the Danes loved these new recipes, so even after the strike was over, they decided to keep some of the techniques, recipes, and treats that the Viennese bakers brought with them, and now we call them Danishes. But the Danish word for these pastries is wienerbrød, or Viennese bread, so there's a clue in the word. I guess it's all thanks to history. Delicious, delicious history.
Oh.
Did you know that Denmark claims the North Pole? Denmark's claim stems from an undersea mountain ridge that runs from the top of Greenland to the North Pole. Now this may surprise you because the North Pole is in the middle of the Arctic Ocean, but with immense mineral wealth potentially under the Arctic Ocean, Denmark, Russia, and Canada are all making claims that include the North Pole.
Now, one thing I bet you didn't know about Denmark is that it's home to 2 of the world's 3 oldest amusement parks.
Oh, yeah.
The first is Bakken. Bakken is located in Klampenborg, north of Copenhagen. Bakken opened in 1583.
I think I was close to Tivoli's. That's why I wish I had one more day in Denmark. I would have went, and I don't usually do amusement park, but I would have went just because I was in Denmark.
That was the year that they discovered a natural spring water source up in Klampenborg. Because the water in Copenhagen City was not so tasty, a lot of locals ended up making the trip up to Klampenborg to collect water, and it soon became so popular that the area attracted merchants, entertainers, and performers, and over the centuries it became an amusement area. Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen is the 3rd oldest in the world.
Yeah, I think I was very close to here. That's why I said if I couldn't have made it there in the garden. I think Tivoli's garden. They have,
and it's a bit more widely known. It opened in 1843 and it stands right behind us. The founder obtained a 5-year lease to open an amusement park in Copenhagen. He told the king at the time, if people are amused, they have no time to worry about politics. Keep in mind, this was about a generation after the French Revolution, so the Danish king was very inclined to keep the people of Denmark happy. Well, I think it's easy to say that Tivoli has kept the people of Denmark happy, as well as the people of the world. If you want to see more of Tivoli, you can check out our recent video on Tivoli at Christmas. It's 3 minutes long and gives you all the highlights of the fantastic amusement park.
Something that might surprise you is that Lego, the beloved toy brand, actually comes from Denmark.
I didn't go
Lego
to
was founded.
I think Lego is in one of the smaller towns in Denmark because I didn't. No. I went to a mall. I think they had like a Lego section in that mall in Fields. I was in Fields a lot just because it was next door. So I was like, oh, let me just walk around here as well. That's what I did on the first day when I first got to Denmark. I didn't really have no plans because I was like, I think I was tired because I stayed up. My train ride was early. So, yeah, that train ride was like 4 hours from Sweden back to Denmark. But yeah, I think the most I seen of the Lego was just the little store in the mall. That was it. But that would have been nice to actually go to that.
In 1932, in the Danish town of Billund in Jutland, and
for
has
each
been
of them
a
next
favorite
time.
for kids ever since. The name Lego is actually a play on words from the Danish phrase "leg godt," which means play well. Beyond being a kid's favorite toy, Lego is also a fascinating business case to look into. In the early 2000s, the company was losing relevance, but was able to reinvent itself through some awesome branding deals with DC Comics, Star Wars, and other branding opportunities. Additionally, it's trying to convert itself into a much more green company, looking for alternatives to plastic for its famous bricks. And actually, one other fun fact about Lego, it's the world's largest manufacturer of rubber tires. Think about all those tires that go on all the Lego toys that are out there.
Now, it may surprise you to learn that Denmark is actually an oil-producing country. In fact, it's the largest oil producer in the EU. Thanks, Brexit.
Dang, I should have got by some water.
This is due to the vast offshore oil fields in the North Sea. But don't get it wrong, Denmark is still a leader in green energy, with over 40% of its energy coming from wind farms in the same North Sea area.
I think I've seen
And
those.
the city of Copenhagen is leading the way with an initiative to be completely carbon neutral by 2025. Now, even though they're the largest producer of oil in the EU, Denmark announced this year that they are not permitting any more drilling in the North Sea.
Another thing that might surprise you is Copenhagen is often rated as one of the best bicycle cities in the world.
Yeah.
In fact, nearly half of the trips made to...
That's crazy. When I got to New Haven, I got off the metro, got there. Oh, no, I think I got off at like Christianhaven. I think that's what it's called, Christianhaven. When I got off, I honestly thought I was in Amsterdam because I seen a canal. It was a canal and hundreds of bikes. That was the most bikes I've seen. Because even when I was in Sweden, like, I seen people on their bike. I seen a lot of, I probably seen more people on their bikes than cars for sure. But I got off the metro and I seen all those bikes. I said, whoa. Like, it was just crazy the amount of bikes. Because where I'm from, it's a lot of cars. We drive everywhere. You might see a few people here and there on a bike. But I haven't seen that many bikes in one place. Like, I don't even see that many bikes in one place at Walmart.
School or to work in Copenhagen are made by bike. So even though Copenhagen has a world-class public transit network, still, bike is the easiest way to get around town. And part of the reason why it's so easy is that the city has made major investments in infrastructure, where we have dedicated bike lanes and even bike traffic lights that ensure that bikes can keep moving along at rush hour. We also have bike bridges over the harbor to make it easy to get from one side of the city to another. One of the most unique things about biking culture here is something called a Christiania bike. A Christiania bike is basically a tricycle in reverse with two wheels in the front and one in the back.
Oh, I've seen one of those.
Front of the bike. These are iconic and were invented in the Christiania neighborhood in the 70s. They're especially perfect for families with kids because they can put the kids in the front of the bike.
Now, Sweden has ABBA, but you may be wondering, who are some of the famous Danish people that you might know?
Famous names.
Well, if you watch Game of Thrones, then you might know that Jaime Lannister and Euron Greyjoy are
both
Danish. We even saw Euron Greyjoy at the grocery store once, but Mike wouldn't let me go take a photo with him.
Two
Other
villains.
noteworthy Danes that
Definitely villains.
you may have heard of are Hans Christian Andersen, the famous writer, and Niels Bohr, the famous scientist. There's also the famous existential philosopher, Søren Kierkegaard.
Sir Kierkegaard.
Maybe he can tell me the meaning of life.
Now, Derek mentioned how famous Danes have discovered the atom, created existentialism, even slayed the Mad King. But you may be surprised by how big of a cultural impact Hans Christian Andersen has today. Hans Christian Andersen was born in the Danish city of Odense, but lived most of his life here in Copenhagen. He wrote dozens and dozens of children's stories that still resonate to this day. Disney took his Little Mermaid and the Snow Queen.
Oh yeah, I got to see the Little Mermaid
and Frozen. And other children's stories like The Ugly Duckling or The Emperor's New Clothes are not only for kids, but part of everyday life. Today you can see his influence all over the city of Copenhagen. A statue of the Little Mermaid has become an iconic symbol of Copenhagen. The main boulevard through the center of the city is called...
I got to go, and that place, like where the statue was, it was packed. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it wasn't packed that I couldn't get through or nothing, but I made my way there. I got to see the Little Mermaid, you know, little statue, nice statue.
Hans Christian Andersen Boulevard, or H.C. Andersen in Danish. And you can visit his grave in the Assistance Cemetery in the Nørrebro neighborhood. And even behind us, you can see a statue of him here in the King's Garden.
King's Garden.
You may not know this, but Denmark is the 4th flattest country on Earth. Only the Maldives, Qatar, and the Netherlands are lower elevation than Denmark. The highest point in Denmark is only 561 feet above sea level. For centuries, everyone believed that a hill called Imag was actually the highest point in Denmark. It even translates to Heaven Mountain. Eventually, surveying technology improved, and it was discovered that the highest point was actually on a nearby farm. The only thing that existed on the spot at the time was a mill, but I guess it's now a much cooler mill because it's the highest point in Denmark.
Another thing that might surprise you about Denmark is it has the oldest flag in the world. The flag, known as the Dannebrog, dates back to 1219 and is said to descend from heaven. So the way the story goes is that the Danes were in a great battle in modern-day Estonia. The Danes were losing the battle and had a bishop go to the top of a hill. The bishop stood on the hill and raised his arms. Every time he raised his arms, the Danes moved forward and were towards victory. But he got tired and his arms fell down and the Danes started falling back. Just when the battle was lost, the king, Valdemar II, looked up and saw a white cross on a red field come down from the sky. It was the flag. He took it in his hand, showed it to his troops, and steeled with courage, they went on to win the day. So not only does the flag have an awesome story, but it's a key part of Danish culture today.
That is an awesome
You'll
story.
find the Danish flag everywhere. It's a major part of celebrations. So at Christmas, you'll find Christmas trees decorated with Danish flags on strings around the tree. And when it's your birthday, your coworkers will decorate your desk in Danish flags. And when you go out for dinner that evening, they'll put a little Danish flag on a flagpole in front of you while you eat.
Now, you may not be surprised that Denmark is a very progressive and liberal country. Denmark values all of its citizens equally, so it probably won't surprise you that it's always been on the forefront of LGBT rights.
I don't think
but
I've
what you
been
may
in
not
this
know is
area.
that Denmark was the first country in the world to have a same-sex union. In 1989, the first same-sex civil union was performed right behind me at Copenhagen City Hall. In fact, it's now called Rainbow Plots, this area that I'm standing in now. In fact, to commemorate that milestone, the rainbow flag flies here
I don't even know how to
at
pronounce
Rainbow
that
Plots
word.
all year long, not just during Pride Month. Copenhagen is also the home for World Pride 2021. And Crown Princess Mary is a
They
royal
have
patron
Euro
of that
Games,
event.
World Pride, Euro
It's the
Games.
first time a royal of any country has ever been involved in World Pride. Pretty cool. The next time you're in Copenhagen, make sure to come to Rainbow Plots and check out the flag. You can even walk down the street
Rainbow
one block
Plots.
and have a drink at the
It's hard to
world's
say
oldest
that
gay
word
bar.
in Danish.
It's called Central Unit, and it was founded in
Control
1917.
unit.
That's over 100 years of gay bar history in Copenhagen.
Despite our reputation for healthy living, one surprising thing about Denmark is how much vices like drinking and smoking are a part of culture. Denmark ranks 25th globally in alcohol consumption, and in truth, it's much higher among the young. Nominally, the drinking age here is 16, but I can be honest, I've never seen a single
16.
person ID'd when they buy alcohol in a grocery store, and a lot of them look a lot younger than 16. Smoking is also a lot more common than we expected coming from the U.S.
Oh,
Many
yes.
bars still permit smoking, and when you walk in, it looks like a scene from Mad Men.
I definitely seen a lot of
In
people
fact,
smoking.
smoking is so common, the Queen smokes, though in recent years she's made sure to do it in private so as not to influence the young kids. And with alcohol, there's no open container laws, or at least where there are, they're not openly enforced. So it's really common to meet friends and just hang out in a park or on the harbor and have a few beers when the weather is nice. In fact, that's one thing Derek and I are doing here today. Skål.
I got a beer on them now. Skål.
Now, we hope we surprised you and that you enjoyed our video. Make sure you give it a like and a comment below to let us know what surprised you the most.
No, this was nice. It was nice, man. That's why I was hoping I'll see some stuff that I got to see. Looked like they were in Copenhagen. That's why I said it was so much to discover still in Copenhagen. Maybe one of these days I'll have a little bit more time to do that. Like I said, when I was in, my plan was to be in Copenhagen 3 days, be in Sweden 3 days, but I had to add an extra day to Sweden. Just because, man, it didn't fit my budget to do half and half. It fit my budget to stay long in one place and 2 days in Copenhagen. So, but I definitely gotta go back, man. I enjoyed it so much. But that's all I have. Y'all hit that subscribe button, send down those recommendations, and y'all be blessed, be the best to be you. I'm out.